Hey, everybody. Every money. That's how we're going to start, Jon Smith. Yep, already live. That's how we're starting. Just stop. Oh, it's Friday. Hey,
Yay!
everybody.
We made it.
Welcome into the KSL Stream Center. You know what? You jinxed it. You came in here and you're telling me all kinds of things are canceled on you, and it's a Friday, and that's how we're going to start this episode of Cool Stuff in Utah in the KSL Stream Center. But you know what? It's Friday. We made it here. We're going to take a little bit of a break from the news to talk about some cool stuff in Utah. And today we're talking a building that you have been trying to get into forever. We've talked about it on this show in the Stream Center here.
Yes.
And you finally did it, John.
So, here's the cool thing is that the Cool Stuff in Utah series is it's got two parts. It's one part we talk about the buildings that you drive past every day and stuff that you see, and then there's another part of that stuff that you may not know about those buildings or even what's inside of them. And believe it or not, this is one of the buildings that inspired the whole thing. Every one of these videos we've done was in part inspired by this one building. Because you're obsessed. I could not get in. And somebody telling me I can't do something, boy, let me tell you.
Okay, so what before we show the episode here,
Yeah.
so this one's about 2.5 minutes here.
Yeah.
What was it about this that you just couldn't let it go?
There's something about abandoned buildings that always attracts me, right? Like we build things and we take care of them and we do the yard and the landscaping and we paint and we have furniture in them. And then one day we just leave. And this one in particular had a children's museum and an indoor pool. And when we walked away from it in 2000, it sat empty. 2006, excuse me. And they left a lot of the museum artifacts from the Utah Children's Museum. They just left them behind. So they just walked away, shut the doors, and never went back. And the building sat there vacant for 20 years.
And you were like, I'm going to get in there.
I have to get in.
I don't know if we'll reveal how you got in there right now. While this is playing, I'll ask you if we even can.
Yes, we
can. There's some intrigue into how you even got into this building. So let's play this. Let's play the story. This is the Warm Springs building off of Highway 89 here in Salt Lake City. You've probably driven past it a dozen times or more, and maybe even forgotten it's there.
Right at the north end of downtown.
And yet it has some major history here in the state of Utah. Take a look.
There are so many people who drive past this building every single day and just kind of think, oh, that's a creepy old building. And they're right. It is certainly old, and it is certainly very, very creepy. But there is a lot of history in this building. It's one of the only indoor pools in the United States when it was built. And the building was absolutely huge. We have been granted a special invitation to go in and check out the inside of the Warm Springs Plunge. Okay, so I'm inside the Warm Springs building. I have special permission to be in here, so please do not attempt to come in here on your own. It is an active construction site, and honestly, it's not safe for the general public, at least not yet. There are crews working tirelessly to make this building structurally sound, which I can only imagine is just a daunting task to take a building from the 1920s that has sat empty for so long and bring it up to code. But these guys, you can see all the scaffolding behind me in what used to be the pool. These guys are just doing amazing work. It's so cool. So this area here was part of the museum. The Children's Museum would have been on this side of the Warm Springs building until about 2006 when they moved over to the Gateway. Since then, this building has sat empty. Well, unless you count the people that have been breaking in and stealing all the stuff. Don't do that.
Okay, Jon Smith. So we're not going to show the entire thing here because that was a shortened version, just a little snippet of what you discovered inside this building here.
I know, because we want you to go to the YouTube page and watch it.
And watch the whole thing because the whole thing is a lot longer here. So let's begin here.
Yeah.
How did you even get into this building? Because my understanding is you were told at one point you could go in, but then you couldn't get in because it's closed.
I have been told no on this building so many times. It took me 10 years. And I have asked the mayor, I have asked the police chief, I have asked the city manager, I have asked every cop and firefighter that I could possibly bribe just to let me in. Just like, hey, you don't even have to come in. I'll bring my own hazmat suit. I'll do whatever.
You're like, I'm a firefighter. I will be safe.
I've got the SCBA. Let me do it. And every time the answer has always been no. And so
just because of safety or what?
Well, because one, you can smell the mold from the inside of the building when you're
dangerous.
in the parking lot. Like you can literally smell it. And two, the building was deemed structurally unsafe after the earthquake in 2020.
Okay.
So you could not go in the building at all. But then there's this group called the Warm Springs Alliance, and it's a nonprofit organization that has been working tirelessly to save the building. The woman who heads it up, her name is Sylvia, and she runs these charity events, and she has a Facebook page and a website. And they finally got a grant to restore the roof of the building. So they're investing $7 million into replacing the roof.
Okay.
Now there's about $30 million more needed to repair the building so that it can be used for something, who knows what. But I was there just filming the outside for this episode, and I noticed that there was a door open. And so I asked,
You just went in.
Well, I was just like, hey, can I come in and take some pictures? And they're like, yeah, okay. I was like, what? It was that easy. So right place and right time.
I love it. I love it.
So, yeah, I had permission to be in there, so please don't try and go in on your own.
Okay.
They've got a lot of alarms on it now because there's a lot of tools and stuff in there, and it really is very unsafe in there.
So they are
it's
restoring
terrifying.
it.
Yes.
To what, though?
That is to be decided, TBD, because the city owns it. It's owned by the city of Salt
Okay.
Lake. So, they might make it an indoor green space. They might make it an event center. They might make it city offices. Who knows?
It's a really cool looking. I mean, it's a beautiful building. It's in a really cool spot right up there against the hillside.
It's a really rare example of that Spanish architecture here in Utah. Not very popular in the Rocky Mountains in the 1920s. This was built in 1921.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a rarity. And then the fact that it was Utah's first indoor event space, and it was one of the first indoor pools in the entire United States. Because that sort of thing just didn't exist.
Kind of reminds me of up in Midway, they had an indoor kind of pool that was that. You know what I'm talking about? That guy
by the Midway Crater.
No, this one. Yeah, no, this was further down. There was like this indoor Warm Springs kind of pool area.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
absolutely.
but
we
this
should
one,
talk about that on another episode.
I know, but that reminds me of that, right? And we were always terrified to get into it because you couldn't really see to the bottom.
You never know.
You never knew what was in it, right? Okay, so the Children's Museum stuff, that's like we're seeing it right there.
Yeah,
so
there it is.
That's weird.
It's still there.
I don't know another word for it. That's kind of weird. It's kind of creepy.
And I've always just had this weird urban exploration
dolls?
fascination of just things that just get left behind.
Yeah.
So I love looking in like old hospitals and old buildings and old offices and old museums where it's like, this was so important. This was something that we took care of and inventoried, and we dusted and we displayed. And then one day we just left. And here it sits 20, 30 years later. And there's a lot of examples of that right here in Utah, let alone all over the U.S.
Wow.
So much fun, right?
Wow, it's so interesting to see that such a beautiful building has just sat there this long.
And the pool side, like the pool area, was not in use during the museum days. So the pool closes in the 1970s. And that side of the building was completely locked off. They had walled that section of the building away from the 1970s, literally, until now. Nobody's been in there.
Okay, that's fascinating.
Fascinating, right?
It's so fascinating, Jon. And so you did get the green light eventually.
Finally.
That's what's so amazing
So
about
now
this.
I have to wonder, what do I do next?
What do you do
Because
next?
that
That's
was
the
on bucket
question,
list.
folks. Okay, we've got people watching it on Facebook and YouTube. Where should Jon go? You have done almost 80 episodes of cool stuff in Utah. You have been all over. For the longest time, you and I talked about this being like your mecca
This was
of buildings,
yeah, this
right?
was the crown jewel.
This was the crown jewel. and so many people will say, why?
Yeah, it's just a weird...
Of
just a
all the
weird,
buildings.
just a weird
But you know what?
heartstring.
To each their own. We all have little special things in our hearts, right? Our sacred
I'm
cow.
nothing if not unpredictable.
I mean, really, Jon. So I'm curious, folks, where does Jon need to go visit? Like, do you have a special gem in your city, or just this little unknown spot that needs to be like not discovered, but just shared with the world?
Yeah,
Because Jon
what's in there?
has this unique way of bringing history to life, and I love the way that you do this, Jon. You put the time, the effort to find these photos, to talk to the people. I always go back to the Sugar House Guard that had the family
Yes.
history of the prison at
At
Sugar
what
House
is now
Park.
Sugar House Park. It
And
was a
his
prison.
legacy there, that you talked to him about that,
Yeah.
and how fun that was to hear from him. So I'm curious now, have you had any other thoughts of like, okay, where do I want to go? What do I want to do?
So that's kind of what draws me to this project, is that Utah has a whole lot of history that we just don't ever hear about.
Yeah.
Utah is only one of 2 states that doesn't have a state history museum, which we're part of the change in that. They are building one with the capital expansion. And then we have a lot of history that we just don't hear about. We hear a lot about the pioneers, and we hear a lot about cowboys, and we hear a little bit about mining here and there. But what we don't hear about is like stuff that happened in the 50s, stuff that happened in the 40s. We don't hear about the Prohibition area in Salt Lake City. We don't hear about, the early 1900s. When the Mormons were considered to be at war with the United States, so we have an episode on Camp Floyd where the U.S. Army was deployed to fight the Mormon uprising. That never happened.
Yeah.
But these are some of the great episodes that we do. So, but I do have some ideas.
Okay.
I want to go exploring the Union Station in Ogden.
Oh, that's a cool one. That's a really cool station.
The tunnels underneath Ogden. There's an old courthouse.
There's tunnels under Ogden?
Tunnels, yes, under 25th Street. There's an old courthouse in Tooele that I discovered the other day. And
there's an old one in Is it Stockton or Erda?
the old courthouse?
Is it a courthouse? It's like the city county bill.
That is in Stockton.
Stockton.
I know exactly the one you're talking about.
It's so interesting.
Yes.
You should go to that one. That's
and
interesting.
then further out in Tooele County, they have this place called Iosepa.
Yes,
which
that's
was
cool.
a Pacific Islanders enclave up until the 1920s, because immigrants of that particular region were not allowed to live within city limits. So they had this town out in the West Desert called Iosepa, and a lot of the infrastructure for that town, streetlights, roads, fire hydrants, all still there, including a cemetery that is still kept up.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
Do you know we have or had a town? I think it's renamed now, called Mammoth, Utah.
Mammoth, Utah. I'm going to start digging.
But now that we have the hockey team,
oh yeah.
I don't know if it's still
Yeah.
named Mammoth, Utah.
I
but
can Google it.
you need to go find the history of Mammoth, Utah.
Let's find out. If
Find
there's a
out the
Mammoth,
history
Utah.
behind Mammoth, because I heard it on the radio. Some lady called talking about the hockey team, and she's like, "We were named Mammoth once."
What?
I know.
Okay, I am going to do some digging.
All right, folks. So weigh in. Oh, Jennifer says, check out the Facebook group Exploring Utah for more ideas. The creator of the page often highlights places like this. So there you go. There's an idea,
I
Jon.
like that. Yeah.
I love it.
I'll reach out.
Send Jon ideas. I think these are so fun. And the crazy thing is, Jon gets into these places. That's what's wild about all this.
And
Some of us journalists will call and they're like, no, you can't come in. But Jon can come in.
Well,
Jon can come.
There's a little bit of an informal attitude towards this project.
little
as opposed
irreverence.
To, I don't have a camera crew or anything. I just kind of show up.
I love it. I love it. You know what? Sometimes that's the best way to cover things anyway. Jon Smith from the Arrow 103.5. Where do you find all of these great, cool stuff in Utah stories?
The best place right now is on YouTube. I want that YouTube counter to go up. I get credit for those.
Go give
So,
Jon the love.
Please go to YouTube. Just type in Cool Stuff in Utah. All 70-something episodes will pop right up.
Here's the thing. The more people that watch these episodes, the longer he can do these episodes.
true.
So let's give him the love so he can get out there and do these episodes. If you're watching, we
the
love
amount
Jon.
of times I have been told to kill this project.
I know. And you know
would
what?
Die.
Who's your number one fan?
Shara Park, 100%.
Right over
she
here.
has been the biggest fan.
I'm just kidding. Hey, everybody. We appreciate you watching here. Cool Stuff in Utah in the KSL Stream Center. Happy Friday to you. I apologize for the rough start there, but it's a Friday. We made it.
It's the internet.
It's
good.
the internet. It's the World Wide Web. And we made it, and we're happy we're all here on a Friday. Enjoy your beautiful weekend. It's going to be fantastic out there. And we'll see you over on KSL 5 News at noon. But for now, we'll say goodbye. Goodbye, Jon Smith.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.